What's your question?
I was trying to do the quiz and do it by myself, and on number 6, where it's wanting you to put, like, copy and paste it into your software, I'm having a hard time. That's just with Excel. Is that right?
Yeah.
I was trying to copy and paste and nothing was working. I wasn't able to do that, so I didn't know if someone was able to successfully do that and can show me how to do it. But I guess we could start at number 1 now that everyone's here.
Right, because it'll...
Well, I guess number 3.
Yeah, because copy and pasting that into Excel will put it into one cell, so it won't work. So your best bet is going to be to actually type them out.
All right, well, I guess we'll look at it when we get there. Okay, so for number 3, in previous lessons, we had assumed the population standard deviation was known. In this lesson, we are making a different assumption. What has changed? I put A, we assume standard deviation is unknown. Is it that one or is it C?
Correct. The standard deviation is unknown.
Okay. Okay, for number 4, is the standard deviation known? I put yes because in the reading it was saying it was S. Is that correct?
Yeah, I put yes too.
Or did I read that wrong? Okay, there was a section there that I was reading that was basically saying the standard deviation was S. Okay.
Are you talking about for question 4? The answer is no.
Why no?
Because that's the population standard deviation. Sigma is always going to be the population standard deviation. S is going to be the sample standard deviation. So we don't know what sigma is, but we know what S is. So sigma is going to be unknown.
Okay, so in S is the what?
The best
So
way
apparently
to
I got
explain
confused when I was reading.
The best way to explain it is that sigma is going to be the most accurate standard deviation. If we were to have like 100% of the data, that would be the standard deviation. The S is the sample, so it's what we've collected, and that's the standard deviation of what we've collected. So you'll never actually know 100% the standard deviation of 100% of the data because it just takes too long to collect that. You're collecting 100% of the information, which frankly is pretty impossible scientifically. And so that's why they collect samples. And so we always use the S, sample standard deviation, because we just don't know what sigma or the population standard deviation is going to be. Hopefully that makes sense.
Well, it's tricky. Like if I'm by myself, that might not make sense. But now that you say it, I'm like, oh yeah, okay, that makes sense. And then
is that in the reading, like what you just explained? Mm.
Not the way that I explained it.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Explained it. I thought it was yes from the reading. Now that you explain it, I understand.
Right. From the reading, I put yes, that we know it, because the way it explained it in the reading was, let's see where it is.
So I guess the best way to answer question 4 is just to, like, I just read the question, and it actually says the answer for question 4 in the explanation. So it says, for the next 2 questions, let the null and alternate hypothesis or hypotheses be, null hypotheses is the population mean is 8 and the population mean is greater than 8. And then the next sentence says, assume that the population standard deviation sigma is not known. And so if you go to question 4, is sigma or the population
Known.
standard deviation known? The answer is going to be no.
Okay. What is the value of t? Now, in the notes, I found a equation. Let's see where it was. And when I was punching in the numbers, I was getting t equals 11 minus, now that little backwards y. What is that name for that little y thing? Is that 8? Because our number is 8.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
Divided by 6 divided by the square root of 9. And it says to round to 1 decimal point. So I put 10.6. Did you guys get that?
10.6.
Because I got 10.555, but it wants to round to 1 decimal point. Or did I do that wrong?
I got 1.5.
That's what I got too.
What? Were those the right numbers you guys put in?
What did you put in again?
11 minus 8.
Okay.
The 8 is the one I wasn't sure. Divided by 6, divided by the square root of 9.
Yeah, that's
So you did it correct.
right.
But,
Okay,
would-
so they're the
I
right
would-
numbers. Okay, let me go back to my calculator then.
I would check your parentheses and make sure that you have the entire first part in parentheses, the 11 minus 8, and then make sure you have the 6 divided by the square root of 9 in parentheses.
Yeah, because I always get weird answers when I use a calculator because I always end up putting the parentheses wrong or forgetting.
Please check the input expression. What? What did I do wrong? I downloaded a new calculator on my phone. And I thought it was working just great. So if I separate it, 11 minus 8 is 3. And then 6 divided by the square root of 9 is 2. So I guess that would make sense. 3 divided by 2. 1.5.
Yeah, that's what I did is break it up because I have problems with
Okay.
calculator too.
Yeah, it'd have to be broken up because I don't know, when I tried it all together, I got a different answer. Okay, 1.5.
Okay, I got it.
Save. All right, so this is where I was stuck with using the software. Use the following values, which were pulled from the data file body temp, for the next 5 questions. Copy and paste them into your software. So is that the software that it had us download the quantitative?
Yes.
Okay, because there were 3 of them. So which one did you click on?
So I've actually been using a blank Excel sheet. The quantitative inference procedures is the one that they gave us for this lesson. And I used the descriptive statistics also just as like a confirmation. So I've just been plugging the numbers into all 3 to make sure that my answers are always are correct. But I think the one that they want you to use is going to be the inference procedures.
Variable 1, I guess I'm. Can you screen share?
Mm-hmm.
So did you have to delete a bunch of stuff out of the quantitative?
No, so
the one I have has stuff in it.
So yeah, you're going to want to clear the whole column.
Enable editing.
And then you can't really copy paste those numbers into Excel. You're going to need to type them in individually.
What is going on? So off to the left, you're just typing in all the 98, 99.6, all of that information.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
In variable 1, 98. Just write them down really fast. 99.6, 97.8, 97.6, 98.7, 98.4, 98.9, 97.1, 99.2, 97.4, 99.1, 96.9, 98.8, 99.9. Okay, now all the ones on variable 1, I filled in. Now, what are you doing with the middle parts?
Okay, so when you have everything under variable 1 name, you can go to the mean cell, and do the average to get the mean. And then do the standard deviation one as well. That's just
okay, and
because it's the first and
to get
second
the
one.
average, you're using the little function thing.
Yeah,
Finding
so I
the
typed
average
in,
and then collecting your cells.
yeah, so I just typed in equals average and then open parentheses. I'll actually do it so you can see. Equals average open parentheses. And then I click the first cell and then drag down.
A5 to, oh, it didn't drag. A5 to A24. Okay, so you got 98.22. Okay, standard deviation.
And that one is just equals STPEV, open parentheses.
Standard deviation of E6. No, A5 to A24. 0.922. Okay, and what is N?
N doesn't, you don't have to do N, and you can skip N. Make sure your confidence level is, wait, do we need to worry about that? We don't need to worry about that. Okay. The null hypothesis, do we need to worry about that? The null hypothesis is 98.6. You can put that there if you want.
Where's your null hypothesis that you're typing in?
It's going to be part
So
of the
it says
equation.
confidence level, type of test. Did you change that to null hypothesis?
No, so it says null hypothesis on cell C10. And so that answer I just got from the quiz. It said the null hypothesis is 98.6.
No, I mean on your Excel sheet, mine says confidence level, type of test, assume
Right.
equal variances. So maybe I'm using the wrong one.
No, so no, you're fine. So confidence level is just, I think standard is just 95, 0.95. We don't have to worry about that one. Null hypothesis, I just typed in 98.6. I think it's standard 0, but I just typed in 98.6. And then the type of test, because we are, the alternative hypothesis is that the mean is less than 98.6. I just put in less than. It's not necessary for these questions, though. I just did that because...
So you can check your answer, right?
Like I said, it's not really necessary for these questions. I guess I just did it out of habit because that's what I was doing since I started this lesson, was just kind of like following along and just kind of doing it along with the lesson.
Okay, Josh, look at mine. I just flipped it around. So I have all of my numbers there.
Oh yeah, that is a different one.
And then
I think are you in 2 sample? Yeah, you're under 2 sample t-test. You want to make sure you're under 1 sample. So on the very bottom, you should have some tabs of your Excel sheet.
one
Yeah.
sample test.
Yeah, so make sure you're choosing the 1 sample t-test. I think it doesn't really matter as long as you don't have variables in variable 2. But everything we're doing for this lesson is going to be under 1 sample t-test. So what you can do is just copy all the values that you have in under 2 sample t-test and then just paste them again in one sample t-test.
Are there supposed to be 26 columns? When you're doing it, are you doing it 5 to 24? Seems like I'm missing some.
Let's see. I went from 5 to 24.
Okay. All right. So
It should only be 20 samples.
okay. How did we find the mean? Standard deviation. Okay, now that we've entered all that in and our null hypothesis is 98.6, now it's wanting to find X. So why did we enter all that information in there? How do we find X once it's all entered in there?
So X is going to be your mean. That's the mean that you get from the sample.
Okay, so 98.22.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah. My bad. Yeah, it's. I put a 0 at the end because it's around the 3 decimal places, and I just wasn't thinking.
Oh, I don't think it matters though.
I don't think it matters either.
Okay, what is S? S is the standard. So is S the standard deviation, the 0.922?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what I put.
What is the T-score?
So the T-score you're going to find in the, I guess it'd be the fourth set of data under the one sample t-test. And it just
The negative
says-
1.84.
Yeah. 1.843.
The negative 1.843.
Yeah.
Okay.
Why would it be negative?
Why would it be negative?
Mm-hmm.
My t-score just says that.
Because the mean, if you were to do the calculation for the t-score,
Mm-hmm.
the sample mean is 98.22, correct?
Mm-hmm.
But the population mean that we're given is 98.6. So if you do 98.22 minus 98.6, you're going to end up with negative, what is it, 3.8 or something, like 4.38 or something like that. So it'll be a negative number divided by the sample divided by the root, or the standard deviation divided by the root. Yeah, so that's why it's negative, is because the sample mean is lower than the population mean.
Mm. Oh, okay. Thank you.
So is our p-value 0.959? Or are you rounding to 960?
No, the population value, or the p-value, should be 0.040.
Okay, how did you get that? Because when I look on the Excel thing,
Can
it
you
just
show
says
me?
a p-value.
I'm able to show you.
0.040.
How do we have different p-values? Here, look at mine. Let me hold you up. My p-value is glowing.
Wait.
A lot of our numbers are the same, but mine has a different p-value. What did I do wrong? Wait, what is that n value right there?
Let's see.
I have a 20 and you had a 0, but then now you have
Oh,
20.
she has a greater than in her type of test.
Oh, is that? So that
Could
does
that
mean
be?
something.
Could that be why?
Oh yeah, yeah. You want to do less than. So I guess I didn't think it mattered, but it does matter. That's cool. I just didn't notice it before.
So how do I know when to move it to less than?
So if you look at the information here, where it says the null hypothesis is the population mean is 96.
Oh, yep, and then
And
less than. Okay.
Yeah, that's how you know.
Okay, so now that answer would be 0.04. Okay.
Right. Sorry, I was doing that the entire time. I didn't know it actually meant something. So definitely put that in.
What is the correct decision based on this evidence? Let's see. What's
So
the
the-
one that
Free
what's the one that
checked.
they wanted?
We want to find, or if the p-value is less than the level of significance, then
Which is
we
0.05.
reject the null hypothesis.
Yes, it is less than, so reject.
Is that what everyone else got?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Downloading question.
We need to do it again.
to do it on here. Okay, using the following values which were pulled from the data. Baby boom. So we don't have to actually look that up. It gives you all the information there. Is that correct? All the numbers we already have. We're just erasing what we have.
Yeah, and you should have one more sample. Right? Because I ended up with 21 samples instead of 20.
You guys are plugging it in, right? Like the whole number?
Yeah, right now I'm just writing down the numbers so that when I go over, I can put them in. I need to learn more about it first, Landon. Okay, so the mean. Whoa, as I entered the information, did it automatically just do it?
Mm-hmm.
Did it just change all my numbers?
You might need to change the mean to 25, A25 instead of A24. And same for the standard deviation.
Yep, I see it. Okay.
Make your N 21. And then change the null hypothesis and the type of test.
When I put mine in, I put A to A instead of a certain cell.
So you're changing the null hypothesis to 40.
Oh, it's like the average of A is that what you mean?
The like for the mean and the standard deviation, instead of A like 1 to A37, I just do A to A colon A, so it does the whole row.
Right. Oh, I mean, that works too.
Oh, that's a good way.
I guess that would be really nice if there was like 1,000 samples.
Yeah, like my husband made me do that for all my Excel stuff. Told me to do it that way. The cells.
I would do that too, except when I do multiple samples, I will like leave a space, and then I just it's all in the same column, which is probably a really bad habit on my part.
Did you switch to no? You're still in one sample t-test. we have different p-values. So I was trying to figure out why. And the section type of test not equal to, I don't have that right now. Oh. What happened? It's like super... Wow. Let's just go backwards. It's like I clicked on something retarded. Now I have a blue line here. Right
Oh,
there,
I think
the blue
this.
line. And where it says type of test, mine says, whoa, right there.
Oh, it says the p-value. That's weird. Or not the p-value. That's not the last p-value.
Yeah, that was the last one.
Yeah,
Can
I would
you
just hit Control Z.
undo?
Yeah, just hit that's why you have a ruler, is because the value is actually going like all the way to the right. It's showing you where that is.
Now that I'm undoing it, it's putting all my other numbers back in there.
Yeah, I would probably just reopen another one, and unfortunately you're gonna have to, or what I would do is I would open a new one and then copy the numbers in the variable one and then just paste them over.
Whoops, what's that? Okay. Yay, maybe I fixed it. Okay, 4.
Wait.
40, 36, 47, 9, 61.
It doesn't look like it's still wrong. The type of test, it's not showing up with the value like it should be.
It's just saying hashtag value.
Right. Right click it for me. And can you look down, or can I can't see the.
Let me see what you're seeing.
Hit pick from drop down list. And then does it give you anything? No, it doesn't.
Whoa. I have no idea what all that means. If $IA $6 equals 0.
No, man. I would try closing out of it and then going back in.
Can I just type it in? Now that I deleted all that.
No, because I think it's a
it's
like
a formula.
Formula. Okay. You're not allowed to buy anything in there on either one of those, Landon.
Oh, actually, you might be able to try typing it in.
I've already closed it out and I'm re-entering it in.
Yeah, it was better that way. I did the same thing because mine was acting crazy too.
Yes, sweetie. I think Lily's with her dad.
Oh wait, and she's going on a trip.
Yeah.
Betsy?
I thought you were playing with Rylan.
Oh, Landon doesn't want to.
Well, I'll do what you want to do, not what Landon wants to do.
If I go, then I want to go with Landon. Oh, I want to play with Betsy. I want to play with Betsy.
Okay, I think I have all my numbers in, and now that they're in, is the p-value you guys got 0.995?
Oh,
Yes.
Yay! Takes me way longer than you guys to get it, but I may get it.
That's good.
What decision do you make? Reject the null. Let's see, 0.995, 0.01.
Mom.
So are we doing the fail to reject?
Yes.
Because it's okay. Because it's higher. You decide to try an alternative hypothesis. This time you use less than 40 and keep this significant, the same level, significant to the p level. Okay, so we're going to go back and do less than. Did the p-value increase or decrease? It decreased. Correct?
yes.
Because it
What
goes to like
decision do you-
0.5 something, right?
0.502, yes. What decision do you make? Are we still fail to reject null?
Yes. Because it's still higher than 0.01.
It's still, right. Now construct a 95% confidence interval for the true mean wait time between births at a hospital. It already is at a 95.
Right. So on the bottom section on the far right, it'll say confidence values or the confidence intervals,
Yes.
and it's just asking for those values.
So 23.44,
Bless you.
23.499 and 56.597.
Right. And they want us to round up to 1 decimal.
So the lower limit would be 23.5.
Yep.
What is the upper limit? 56.6. Now, if we could have a whole test on this, I may pass it. Oh, hold on. Let me submit this one first, and then I'll decide.
Oh, when is our next test?
Not next week. I know that.
Oh my goodness, 100%.
Week lesson 15. So we have, yeah, not next week, but the week after.
No.
November 2nd. So 2 weeks from tomorrow.
What do we do with the students' T probabilities? This little thingy. Like I downloaded the little thing, but how do we use this?
I don't know. I was trying to figure that out, and okay. So if the T
Like through our reading, it had a
value
little bit about it,
is
but
6, freedom. And if you do not equal to, should end up with, okay. So you're going to plug in your t-value like you would with your, z-score. And then if it's not equal to, you're going to select everything on the outside. If it's greater than, you would select everything greater than the t-value. And if it's less than, you would select everything less than the t-value. So let's go back to the, if you go back to the values for the body temperatures, the t-value that we got was negative 1.843. Boy, that's 11. So the not equal to type of test should be the p-value that I am given from the inference procedures is 0.0809. So if I make sure that everything not in the middle is shaded and I look up at the p-value that I'm given, it says, oh wait, I got to put in the degrees of freedom. It gives me 0.081. Down here at the p-value that I've given, it's 0.0809. So yeah, and if I want less than, then I shade everything less than the p-value. So I get the area, which is the p-value, and they match up. If I want greater than, I shade everything greater than value, and it matches up. So that's just how you use it. It's not something that we needed, but
That's way more confusing to me.
Yeah, so basically what I would say is if they ask for a p-value and they give you all the information, like if they say what's the p-value with a t-score of this and a degree of freedom of this, then you would use this. You would use the student's probability. But if they just give you a bunch of samples, then you're going to use the Excel sheet. So you're more than likely not going to be using the student's t probabilities because I don't see them just giving us the t-score and the degrees of freedom. So I wouldn't really worry about it too much. But that's what you would use it for, is if they give you those values to put in. Otherwise, you just use the Excel sheet.
All right, when are we meeting again?
So I actually got my schedule all worked out and everything, so I can meet anytime after 2 o'clock, really. Mondays.
That's when I'm working next week.
Yeah. I can also meet. Meeting late Monday would be hard. But if you need to meet Michelle like on a Tuesday, I can do that too, like separately from the group. And then same for Wednesday. I can meet late on a Wednesday night if you need me to. So that way you don't miss out.
Okay, next week I'm working Monday and Tuesday. And I'll be a day shift, so I'll work 5 in the morning till 5:30 at night and then drive home. So I'll be available from 6 until bedtime.